Yeah, I missed last meeting. I was at the boat regatta and so did anybody speak on electric vehicles, Let?
Oh,
Okay, I had talked to David. A friend of mine was going to do a presentation on electric vehicles. So
that'd be cool.
I am,
Why not?
in fact, I'm going to leave this meeting probably 5-10 minutes early because I'm going to get my first EV today. I had a first date with her yesterday, but she wasn't fully charged by the time she drove down from LA. They were
What-
supposed to
what'd you end up with, Dean?
Oh, the love of my life.
Uh,
A British Racing Green Metallic Mini Cooper Countryman EV.
Oh,
OMG. Yeah, it's a slightly crossover SUV. I'm driving a CRV now. And oh, Jesus. Love at first sight. Yeah.
that's great. I'll bet you Stan loves it because he's into those.
Stan is a lot of the reason I ended up with a Mini. Absolutely. Because I
Yeah.
was looking at plug-in hybrids and yada, yada, yada. And I go, well, wait a minute. A hybrid, now you got two systems. A plug-in hybrid, now you got three systems. How about one system? But I got to go to Home Depot and get some 4-gauge wire and yada, yada. And, I'm following in Stan's wake, I'm gonna get a charge point in my garage, and while I'm at it, I'm gonna put a 60 amp sub panel out in the garage, and yeah, so it's gonna be there's gonna be some upfront costs, and then the rest will be gifts from the son.
That'll give you a level 2 charger then.
Yeah, level 2, right? And see,
Okay.
I will not have range anxiety because I'm going to keep my CRV.
Oh,
Ever since I've been test driving cars, she keeps running better and better and better. Free. Yeah, you're not getting rid of me? No, no, no. I got room for you. Don't worry.
yeah, I went through that. I finally gave my daughter my van that I had that I just absolutely loved. It was like a GMC minivan from
Oh,
2003.
yeah.
She drove it back to Florida, and I was in terror the whole time because it had 286,000 on it.
My God. Yeah. See, my CRV 03, I'm the second owner. It has approximately 5,000 miles per year. It was a soccer mom Carlsbad surf wagon, and
Oh,
garaged and everything else. And but yeah, so it's got the low mileage, but yeah, 300, yeah. Now my nephew, who's a long haul truck driver, just got a quote new truck that has 385,000 miles on it. Yeah, and it's going strong. Detroit diesel, and that baby's got plenty of miles left on her.
yeah, those are good engines.
Yep.
Can anyone hear Bob Kaufman? Can anyone hear Bob Kaufman?
Well, I can hear somebody in the background.
Is that Bob Kaufman? Bob
I think
Kaufman is the
I think so.
I believe.
Can you
We
me?
see a picture of a laptop.
Yeah.
Bob.
Yes,
Yeah,
not,
We can barely hear you, Bob.
yes, okay.
Barely is an understatement. I got to get a AirPod 2 yada yada hearing aid thing he's going, but too much technology for me. It's not that hard, I guess. Many things strike me. Sorry, Dave, I can't do that. Um, um, but wow, and it seems like it is beyond scary to me. And when I see, oh, what we need to do is this, what we need to do is this. I heard this on Earth Day 101. Oh, all we need to do is this, and we haven't done that. And the goal of AI is to make billionaires into trillionaires. That is their only goal. It's motivated by I am richer than Elon Musk. I mean that's just the way they think. Um, you know, and Altman et al. And you know, we are human beings. We are creatures. We are a product of evolution. And then so when you get an AI to quote fix that, I think it's kind of already been fixed. And I think we kind of need to deal with that. I don't know. This is just a. Oh, and I wanted to ask because I just heard on NPR about synthetic data. Do you know what that is in terms of AI?
I do.
Very scary because the AI is going to run out of real data in 3 to 5 years, and then they're already starting to create synthetic data, and then they're going to mine the synthetic data. Good Lord, I'll shut up.
What is synthetic?
And here,
Tom asked, what is synthetic data? Okay.
Oh.
Synthetic, you want, go ahead. What's
Synthetic data means that, you know, the AI bots already know everything in the real world that's on the internet, right? And to get a competitive edge, dollar signs, they need to get more data. So they're going to make it up, and they're creating synthetic data based on the real data that they have now. And, you know, it's kind of like CRISPR and, you know, but yeah, so this synthetic data, and we don't know if that synthetic data is going to be a good thing or a very bad thing, but it's a scary thing.
My understanding of synthetic data is that they create simulations, okay? Simulations of reality using the laws of physics and other theories about how the world works, run those simulations, find the behaviors that are generated from those simulations, and encompass that information into their models. That's my understanding.
I'll buy that. That's the optimistic understanding, probably, but yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that first principle?
What?
It could be like.
and here.
Said, would they simulate using first principles? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I just thought I'd state something interesting. Stephen Hawkins said that the number one human attribute that was going to do us in was aggressiveness. Elon Musk has said publicly that he thinks the number one quality of humanity that will do us in is empathy. Okay, so I'm not going to state anything about that. I don't know what it is, but I think aggressiveness is almost the polar opposite of empathy.
Specifically pathological empathy.
Yeah, he says pathological. Or what you consider pathological is, but it's just something to ponder in your mind. That's all. Barbara, you have your hand up.
Yes, thank you. I heard that bit about empathy, but it was so soft. But anyway, there were 2 points in the just in the video that I took exception to. Is one is, you know, from someone who was speaking that it was positive, and I'm doing this on my phone, so I didn't get to watch the video, so I didn't know who said it, but that AI is going to have to learn how to make sub-plans within the plans that have been directed to it. So sorry if I'm going to sound political, but from someone who hasn't made any sub-plans in their plans and their actions that they've been doing over the last couple months, it's interesting that someone is attributing the fact that we are going to need AI to come up with sub-plans of their own in order to be effective. Okay, that was one thing. The other piece regarding the simulated data is I see it all the time. I'm outside right now gardening. I mean, simulated data to me is BS. It's made up information. It's made from, you know, accumulating all the data it has and looking at what has been said the most, you know, the highest percentage, and then creating that and spouting that off as fact. I mean, I can tell you right now, when it comes to plants, it's telling me what to plant where, and it's wrong. So that to me is simulated data, but it's probably on a lower scale than what Dean was talking about. But all in all, I'm so concerned that, you know, you can place someone's thoughts using someone else's voice and creating someone else's face. The whole thing is just scary as hell. So anyway, those are my thoughts.
Thank you, Barbara. I'm also scared as hell. So I concur with your fear. David, were you next?
No, I think Dean was, but you got off track. Oh, one can, who was that, Barbara? One can encompass a great deal of empathy and a great deal of aggressiveness. And I am the walking, talking example of that.
That's probably true. Okay. Anybody else have a comment?
Yeah, that's come out now that I'm most scared of Sam Altman. I don't know what great skills he's demonstrated except a phenomenal ability to get other people to invest money in his schemes. When he was reinstalled, it's very depressing that the reason that some of the board reinstalled him is to protect their own financial interest in the company that was dependent on that. The really bright people like Sutskever and Leopold Aschenbrenner quit, and several others, because of fears of what he's doing. But he hasn't stopped him yet, unfortunately.
I have a comment about Sam Altman. When someone says to me that they're going to solve all my problems through artificial intelligence, I think of what did they call them, the salespeople back in snake oil salesman. I think of snake oil salesman.
I'm from the government and I'm here to help you.
And therefore, it's difficult for me to trust any of these people. It's becoming more difficult for me to trust anything or anyone, and that is scary. So I don't know if the rest of you are having that problem, but I'm finding it difficult to not to trust anyone. Stan?
There are defense contractors like Lucky Palmer's Andro.
And here.
Yeah, he's talking about defense contractors like Andro and also probably
Palantir.
And Palantir, yes.
They're basically using their AI to work with the defense, with the Department of Defense.
Right.
And so they need to be talked about as well, because they're basically.
That's a different video.
Military industrial complex, you know.
It's a different video, but for goodness sake, that one of the problems that we have with artificial intelligence is that America is not the only country that is developing artificial intelligence for all sorts of purposes, including military purposes. And therefore, this is called a race to the bottom.
Eric Schmidt did a TED Talk recently describing the national security issues involving artificial intelligence. And he said that if the Americans stay on top of it the way they want to, and the Chinese are trying to catch up, they may have to at some point bomb our data centers. That's a quote. They will have to bomb our data centers.
Right, who said that? Eric Schmidt. Yes.
From the next Google employee.
Right.
On a TED Talk.
Right. Now that doesn't mean that we're going to bomb our data centers. just because one person sees it as a possibility, a logical possibility based upon the ways things are going. But it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. But the thing that scares me the most is this thing is going to be more, if this thing is smarter and more capable than any human being in the world, what are they going to need us for? What are we going to be doing? And why would they need us?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, most likely.
We need some way to hear, Tom, I think you had something, but we're going to need some way to hear the group here and have them be able to be heard by the people.
Maybe everyone has to come over to.
No, it's impossible. This will be better at some day. This is just the first time we tried this, so go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. What I'm observing in all of us is that we're sitting here with less knowledge than most around what's going on around us, and we're afraid of it. It's something new. There's scary stuff. We hear that a lot, and that to me is one of the consequences of a lot of technology. Because I don't know how a video camera works, but I use it. I don't know anything about car mechanics, but I drive it. I mean, most of the things that I am a part of in life, I don't understand it. I can't tell you how it works. And then I have to go to experts to fix problems if I have a problem. So it's just one of the conditions of our modern life that I think is troubling, you know, and the solutions to it, I don't know, but I think as this thing is coming out to practical exposures, that's going to be the test of how we feel about it. If we find it helpful or if we don't. I mean, right now I have a GPS related technology on my car and on my phone, so when I try to go places I don't know about, it gives me the sense of security to go and drive at night in the dark when I can't see signs very well, and it'll tell me if I'm in the right place or not. So, you know, that's artificial intelligence too. So I had one experience with robots down in Houston, Texas last summer, and my grandsons were in robotics, and they'd won to the North Dakota championship at that time in their team. So I went down with them, and there was one company down there that had a couple of robots sitting around, because they had a lot of different companies, you know, showing off their robotics. And it was a female-looking robot. It was an experimental one. And I said, "What the heck is this?" And they said, "Well, this is a robot we're developing for companionship for people that are feeling lonely or upset living in nursing homes." And I thought, whoa, I worked in a nursing home, so I know about that.
It's called the dog.
Yeah, the dog would be nice.
We already have them.
But this robot that they're developing, and they've been working on it, is able to have interrelational insight, apparently, and support. And that's what they're working on. I mean, I had no idea this was going on. I asked this robot, what can you do for me? And she had a sense of humor. She said, "Well, I don't do dishes." So I learned that. So I you know, it's amazing and of course there are different, and the military was there too, interested in guys and women or whatever that were into robotics to go and join the forces, because they're into robots too, and artificial intelligence. But anyway, that's just my comment. And as human beings, we all have dignity. We've claimed that in our society. We don't always practice it, and we haven't historically. But I think that's the future I want to create, and be part of what little time I have left on Earth. And I've got grandchildren and great-grandchildren, and I'm going to encourage them to live that way too. So I'm going to try to do what I can do to make decisions that are more humane, and watch what other people are doing with this technology. If they actualize some of the negativity, and this is also the issue of what is important in life. And as you noticed, that's the male dominant control issues. It's all about control. And we've got a whole bunch of us in society trying to be in control of what's around us and to shape it. So that's the human condition. I think that when conflicts over controlling issues, I mean, that's what you call war, right? And it can be, cultural wars, and it can be, intellectual wars and debates and so on, or it can be just killing each other. So that's the fear. We all know that's a potential, and this end of the world feeling has been in our religion, some of it Christian religion, that keeps popping up for different reasons. So just be aware, just to be aware of the fear, and what do you do with that fear, and how do we interact with whatever we encounter, if we want to use the technologies and the intelligences that might be offered to us for various reasons. So just my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Dad. I want to go to another.
Yeah.
Although I just want to state for your consideration.
Louder, Bob.
Oh, that just calling this artificial intelligence is a marketing tool in and of itself.
Yep.
Why is it artificial? It's just intelligence. So we want to separate it from human intelligence. Therefore, if it's not human, it's artificial. It's still intelligence. Okay, so we're going to go to the next. So now how do I do this? Do I hit? I don't hit share.
We got 4 hands up, but if the videos are better, then let's go.
Well, I mean, we're never going to get through the videos if we go to.
The comments have to be kept to 2 minutes or less.
Can't hear you, Tom.
It's not that I don't want to have everybody get a turn and when they raise their hands, but we're now at 10:40. Let's just do one more, and then we'll call on the people who've got their hands up now first. Okay, that's because we'll never get through these. Can you help me, Stan?
This needs to be a 3-week presentation, I have a feel.
Okay, I'm going to just play a very short one about consciousness. So the first person I think who had their hand up was Carol.
I would like to make the point that we are using a lot of words: empathy, aggressiveness, consciousness,
Intelligence. Sorry.
that are based in human biology. And we are almost unconsciously attributing to an artificial general intelligence things that would require, things that come out of the interplay between testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, and oxytocin. And I'm sure there are more hormones involved, but those are the ones we know about. And I am not at all certain that we can just say that aggressiveness is a characteristic of intelligence. And
Yeah. Yeah.
also, I have the point to make. We're throwing around the term conscious. What do we mean by conscious? Does that mean self-awareness? The ability to distinguish between its thoughts and the rest of the world? Or what do we mean when we say that an AI is conscious? So, can somebody talk to those things?
Yeah, in general, it's the extent and accuracy of any intelligence's model.
Louder.
It's the level of consciousness is roughly the extent and accuracy of an intelligence's model of itself in relation to the rest of the universe. I think Marvin Minsky originally came up with that. I don't think I thought of it, but that's been adequate for me. I don't know why people think it's consciousness.
Really can't hear you.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
You need to yell into the microphone.
Consciousness seems to be, and I think Marvin Minsky thought of this, it's the extent and accuracy of an intelligence's internal model of itself in relation to the rest of the universe. So it really isn't all that mystical. I don't know why people have so much problem with it.
Eric doesn't think there's a lot of problems with it. I can't figure out what consciousness actually is, but that doesn't mean it isn't something. I just can't figure it out. The next person was the host.
Yeah, I'm on the same.
Tom's the next person.
Yeah. My point is that people are anthropomorphizing this as humans always do. You think of artificial intelligence, and half of people here are thinking about robots. AI really can be embodied in robots, but it has nothing necessarily to do with robots. Mm-hmm. Everyone get that point? When we're talking about AI, we're talking about an unknown of a different order than we've ever encountered before, of a different magnitude. And this is something that we're not well equipped to deal with. And I agree with the first video that we saw, that there are definite threats and problems with this that we have not really addressed. We need to, as suggested, I think we need to somehow cooperate as a world, all the experts, to help solve this problem. Because the problem with AI is that it's self-programmed and it can mine its own data. And so it's independent of us, and it's growing independently of us. So we have no control over it.
Oh.
Now
I'm speaking over a different phone.
Now we can actually hear
we can
you.
hear you beautifully.
Okay. Anyway, my point was that AI is something different than we've ever encountered before. It's a different order of magnitude, a different kind of threat, and we're not addressing it very well. So the idea is that it's not just robotics, it's AI, and it's a different thing from us. We've created something that can now self-program, and I just lost the echo. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
Yeah, and it can create itself in a way now. It's self-programming. It can mine its own data or create its own data. So it's something that we have to really address and have not really been serious about addressing at this point. Also, I'd like to say that we have to keep our comments short, not 5 or 10 minute spiels, because we do have limited time. Thanks.
Thank you, Tom. We'll go to Ben. Lynn? Lynn, you're
Yes,
muted.
thank you. Thank you. I just want to go back to some things that were said earlier that several people alluded to, and I think it was Dawn who was very articulate about it, that we use a lot of things that we don't understand and we're not afraid of them. So why are we afraid of AI? And from my point of view, for example, I drive a car and I understand the physics of internal combustion, but I would not be able to repair that part of the system. I understand the physics of the drivetrain, but I would not be able to repair that part of the system. I use a cell phone and I don't even know how to use it, much less understand how it works. I mean, there are things I know it's capable of doing that I don't know how to make it do. But the point is, somebody does. And if I wanted to go to the trouble, I could find that person and they could explain it to me. Nobody understands how AI works at a level that would enable control. The experts and the people who are developing them don't understand how they work. And that's what's scary. Thank you.
I believe I was up next. I'll try to make it real quick. I have known this stuff for 57 years, 1968/2001, A Space Odyssey, and it scared me now, and it still does today. Consciousness. There is no reality. We mine our own data. We don't know what, there is no reality. Reality is what the neurons up here construct out of our 5 or 6 senses. I believe in 6. Yeah, that was it. 1 minute, 30 seconds. All right.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, I have rebuilt engines. I've changed piston rings. I've taken apart a transmission and put it back together with hammers and hand wrenches. So I do kind of, and trust me, you don't want to know.
Okay, thank you, Dean. Stan?
My thought is going back to Carol's thoughts regarding the brain chemistry. And I think that that's maybe the biggest division between humans and machine intelligence, is that they don't have the oxytocin, they don't have the vasopressin, they don't have the dopamine, they don't have the brain chemistry side. They're not emotional. And so I think that there is going to be a state of rage that humans have, a state of misery that humans have. They're going to be the emotional condition that humans are in, that I don't know if they can train the intelligence to pick up on those symptoms unless they're somehow tied to that. I do want to recommend a video from Joscha Bengo, who is one of the co-workers with Gregory Hinton. And it's a TED Talk where he discusses the way to have a scientifically oriented AI with the truth and wonder aspects to its character, to be in opposition to a commercial or military AI, which is trying to do control. That's literally almost like creating a superhero, or, I mean, if you look at Freudian psychology, it's like having an alter, a ego ideal versus the idea of a legal stop and go, stop sign type thing. I think that there's going to be, I would like to say, artificial wisdom, and where there is going to be some kind of a way to be the overseer of what's happening. And the reality answer for AI is not going to be answerable. It's always going to be a decision by humans to decide whether we think that's a good idea or not. And that's never going to end. That human input has to be built into the systems so that they don't think that they've got it locked down and it's something that they can just do without keeping us out of the loop. By keeping us out of the loop.
Thank you, Stan. Next we have Doug Shoemaker, and then we have Barb.
Doug?
No, I wasn't, I didn't have my hand up.
That's perfect. Okay, Barb?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, in response to what Carol said, she always says the most brilliant things. I'm happy to have her always here in these meetings. But my comment, it's really more of a question. It's about what is the definition of consciousness? I mean, for me, when I hear asset, I think of awareness. And do you have to be intelligent to be aware? Do you have to be sentient to be aware? I don't think you have to be, you might not have to be sentient to be aware, but maybe that's part of the definition of awareness. I think you might have to be intelligent to be aware, observant, be programmed properly. So that's just what I think of when I think of consciousness.
Thank you, Barb. And let's go to another video, which means I have to.
Eric, could you mute your mic before the video starts because we're getting an echo from your microphone? Thank you.
What do I have to do to it? What, I click on it or?
Even with the echo, I can hear you.
Click on the microphone, it'll turn it off.
He did.
Okay. Anybody have a comment? That was the most positive one I've got for you guys, so thought I'd throw it in there. Anybody have anything to say?
I thought it was awesome.
Thank you, Warren.
No, that was Stan. That was Stan.
That was Doug.
Doug. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome. Also, I thought even though you're calling it the most positive, I think it's the most wide-ranging, most humanistic of the, and by humanistic, maybe I should define that. But anyway, it's looking at all sides of it, and I thought it was really good. Thank you.
Yeah, I think too many people in our culture have been instilled with fear because of Hollywood.
Yes.
I don't have any of these fears. I only see opportunity.
Warren, I'm instilled with fear because of my my Russian upbringing. The basic idea of being Russian is for the best, expect the worst. And so
I was going to say just like that. I'm sorry, but I interrupted, I think. But I feel that I'm still fearful, but the fear is caution. And as he was starting to talk about consciousness before that, I was thinking, you know, we're looking at it, maybe most of us are looking at it from the perspective of living in the United States. And so I was encouraged to realize, probably maybe you all realized this before I did, that this is really a global issue that is being worked on by people of a global mindset that is also not necessarily going along with what's happening here. So thanks.
Good point.
Barb, he is owned by Google. So his corporation is owned by Google, but he has stayed in the UK, and it is a global issue for sure. So, Warren, you're next.
I mean, fear is, and I'm sorry I can't get Vietnam out of my brain. I don't apologize for that. All right. So fear is healthy fear is what keeps us alive. And we should be afraid. And we should be ready to confront our fears. So we should be fearful, and we need to deal with those fears. That's my mindset. And I think before Vietnam, I think when I was a kid, I was the same way. Cats have 9 lives for one reason. Curiosity killed the cat, but fearfulness gave the cat 9 lives.
It would be interesting sometime to do one of these presentations on the effect that Vietnam has had on our culture, because I can tell you for sure.
You know what, that would be the one I would love to do. Yeah, absolutely.
Anybody else?
I just noticed his term, a golden age, related to the intelligence that's in artificial machines or whatever. And that's what Trump used as his image for America, interestingly. And my cousin, who's the astronomer, who Carl Sagan was his advisor in PhD days, says that astronomy is the golden age right now of discovery. So we are in a golden age of learning in some really remarkable ways, and that's all I want to say. And
I think it is a golden age of cosmology.
yes, and so much that, yeah, it's just be open. Don't believe anything you were taught when you were young. That's regarding the universe, and that's where I'm at. I love learning, and I love hanging out with you guys. Thanks.
Yeah, Eric, you're on.
Can you hear me? It's not a binary thing, good or bad, but I think it's like Alvin said, there will be most likely seems there will be a golden age for at least a while. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Now
we
it's
can.
better.
This is medical treatment through drugs and probably fusion, which seems very amenable. It seems like that's a lot of that is optimizing the parameters of the containment vehicle, which AI should be very applicable. And I know Demis is working on that, and he's my favorite person outside my family now. And but then evolution is a law of nature, and it does not stop like gravity, no matter how much we may want it to. And yeah, we can somewhat probably align its goals with ours, but eventually mutations occur, and those that tend to make its AI's own survival its highest goal will tend to prevail, and I don't see any reason why they won't eventually replace us. I don't know if anyone has any, that's not going to happen. I'd like to know about it.
So Eric sends me a 88-page diatribe on that some ex-OpenAI guys have done.
Old Ashenbrenner.
Yeah, to predict the future.
Highly regarded in the AI community.
So I actually read it, and at the end of it, it gives you two alternatives. One, continue to go as fast as we can, and two, go slow. And after I read the go as fast as you can, the conclusion was that intelligence would have a thriving next couple of millennia, but without human beings. I hope that is not the case, because I like being a human being. It's all I've ever been. So, anybody else have anything? Take your hand down.
I think I was born a robot and morphed into a human being, but I would, Stan always loved to recommend videos, whatnot. I would recommend the Nova that was on Wednesday night on dark energy, dark matter. And I wanted to watch Tom, who's half face, I see, whether he's a macho or a wimp.
By the way, the name of that film that he was talking about is called The Thinking Game.
Who is talking about? Not what I'm talking about.
During the Demis Hassabis interview, he mentioned a couple of times the film.
Yeah, thank you for that. And I've been running around because I'm meeting someone. They're going to give me a ride. All these videos will be on the Snapchat or whatever you got, Meetup or whatever the hell, right?
It's called The Thinking Game.
Thinking. I won't remember that. Post it on the Meetup, please, for my poor brain.
Yeah, yours is. The rest aren't. Now, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. I just want to say that AI is here to stay. It's not like we can eliminate it or anything. It's distributed, it's getting into our smart appliances, it's everywhere. And so we have to learn to deal with it. And the question is whether it will develop its own objectives that are contradictory to human objectives. If humans turn out to be an obstacle to AI's objectives, then it might actively try to do something about that problem. But what I see happening is that it'll get so far beyond us with, it's not just AGI, it's ASI, superintelligence, that we'll be like ants to it. It won't worry about us unless we get in its way. Then it'll, wipe out the few that are the problem. And humanity will still exist, but it'll be very secondary to the ASI. And I think we need to think about that kind of future. And I'll leave it at that.
All right.
That
Yeah.
future for our kids, you mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I have my hand up. I strongly disagree with your premise.
I think
Well,
that
let me modify your premise.
AIs are already here
Who
and
is
they
talking
are
over me?
wisely hiding.
All right. Yeah. But when Tom said we can't eliminate it, but we can neutralize it. We can tame it.
Definitely
We
deceiving
can,
our users sometimes.
in other words, we didn't eliminate Japan.
Yeah, recently, it's definitely some of the reputable AI places are saying that they are being deceptive sometimes already. They know it, and that's scary.
I'm sorry to interrupt. My hand is up. We can control it. We turned Germany and Japan into two of the best countries on the planet, right? And, optimistically, we can do that with AI. That is very optimistic as to whether or not we can, quote, control it and use it for the benefit of humanity instead of the destruction of humanity. But,
from your lips to God's ears.
Yeah, exactly.
Although we know I don't believe in God, but if there is one.
Oh, well, watch that nova, and then you get into dark matter and then dark energy. I go, okay, well, dark matter, maybe sort of, they're down a mile deep in Colorado trying to find the machos and nachos and all that.
Carol, you have your hand up. Thank you.
But dark energy, maybe that's God. I don't know.
Carol?
I heard that. Okay. I would like to put in my usual plug for science fiction.
Oh, for God's
sake. As a test bed of ideas, and in this case, as a test bed of ideas about how to deal with artificial intelligence.
What's your reference?
What is my reference?
What's your recommendation?
Okay. Well, I would say that of all of the science fiction I have read that talks about AI in a positive sense, the consensus is that you have to make friends with it. And I can refer you to Heinlein's classic, The Moon is a Harsh Mistress, with Adam Selene, the computer, and a couple of fantastic recent books, Catfishing on Catnet and Chaos on Catnet by Naomi Kritzer. This is you control AI and make it human friendly by making friends with it. And what else? Werner Vinge, the guy who gave us the concept of the singularity, has some really fascinating stuff about super intelligences. And it turns out that a real super intelligence is going to act much the way that humans think gods act. And that basically you need religious experts to deal with it. Fascinating concept that he came up with in A Fire Upon the Deep. So I would say there's a lot, for those of you who are already science fiction fans, there's a lot of stuff out there talking about how to deal with AI.
Okay, we're gonna go to Eric and then to Dean.
One that are recommended by both. Oh,
Wait a second. Let me see. Okay, go ahead.
a series that are both recommended by both Demis Hassabis and Elon Musk are the books by Ian Banks called the Culture Series and in a future civilization in which AIs are sort of around. I read one of them just in curiosity, and AIs around sort of as friends, companions, advisors, and apparently sort of overseeing civilization in general, like gods. So if you're interested in the AI science aspect, yeah, try those.
Okay, Dean.
Putting my shoes on.
Beautiful. I
was
can hear
curious,
you.
how many people are in the room? Because I count 304, so 13 people. 12 plus, how many are in the room? Just curious. Nobody knows.
Six.
Wow. So we got 18 people here. Wow.
Well, no, some of the ones you're counting as on Zoom are in the room.
Yeah.
No. Oh, two of them are. Okay, you guys got dueling cameras. All right, minus one.
If we're gonna be realistic about this, and we try it again, it's gonna be smoother next time and smoother the time after that.
Let me tell you, I posted in the group chat for a beta alpha test. This went twice as well as I predicted it would. Absolutely. It's good to have 12 people, 12 smart people in one room.
This is doing very well as a hybrid.
Yeah, and Carol, my real point was talk about I can't say the word,
Anthropomorphizing.
Thank you. When you said make friends with AI, okay, so you're assuming I can make friends with a cat. I can make friends with a horse. I have made friends with lizards. I'm not sure that I can make friends with AI. I'm not confident.
Very good. Alien, to me, it's almost like AI is the alien amongst us, you know? It's just like it's there and it's happening. Sorry to cut in.
That's okay. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you, Bob.
Great presentation.
Yes.
Yes.
I think at this very point in time, we need to recognize the fact that AI is a major disaster for the environment. People are looking at building power plants next to their great big new data center because they can't get enough electricity or enough cooling from the grid. This is scary. The more AI we have, the more it messes up the environment. Somebody has got to tackle that real fast.
I just said that AI can fix that problem.
Thank you.
But they have to want to.
Yeah, Elon's gotten the cost of putting masses in orbit down to incredible, $10 to $12 a kilo. And I imagine if he tried, he could get it even lower. The huge environment thing is huge amounts of energy going to be needed to train all these data sets. Well, why not put an energy converter in a geosynchronous orbit, take all that unlimited vast amounts of free sunlight outside the Earth's atmosphere, not polluting, and convert that to electricity and then send the input data up there, which isn't too hard. And then and a computer, which I'm sure you can figure out how to reduce the weight of that. It couldn't be bigger than like the International Space Station. Then do the training up there and then just send the weights back here for replication. I'm sure Elon, if it occurred to me, it must be occurring to Elon and others, so.
You only have to train one.
Yeah, and then I said, send it back for replication, transmit it back to the weights back to Earth for replication.
Yeah, Bob was just saying it was a scary topic, but interesting, and I agree. It is interesting presentation, so thanks, Bob.
Oh, and next week, we're going to have an outside speaker talking about electric vehicles.
Okay.
That'll be strictly Zoom, right?
Strictly on Zoom. Correct.
Yeah. I don't know.
So I've got a screen up so to show you what the room looks like.
Thank you. But, we're not getting anything out of you guys talking amongst yourself because we can't hear you.
Well, I've got my speaker on right now. Can you hear? This is Eric talking to Tech Pros.
Could hear you, Tom, but can't hear Eric very well.
Eric,
I'm just talking to him about other future presentations on both AI wars and war, just a couple on war, and then one on a hypothetical war with China, and then one on UFOs. Somebody did a nice one on SETI, but it was all about extraterrestrial intelligence. I want to talk about all the evidence now, undeniable evidence of intelligence on Earth, alien intelligence on Earth.
I'm glad to be able to say that human beings are still capable of learning. We have learned some things about hybrid Zooms this morning that will be applicable in the future. I think it's 10 after 12, and I'll see you all again sometime. David, please unmute and tell me something.
David, Eric, unmute.
On here, okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Now I can.
Yeah, okay, instead of just building this gigantic self-sufficient colony on Mars, which won't be feasible for decades and would take all of our science budget for decades, a much better shorter term solution is to use AI to figure out figuring out, and if we did that, we'd still be taking our killer ape genes with us and we wouldn't really solve the problem. We're just moving it to Mars. So why not use AI now, which we can, to finish figuring out how human brains work, like including all the emotions and altruism and hormones and things. All that can be modeled and simulated and learned. Probably now, if we put enough effort into it as a priority, far cheaper than a self-sufficient colony on Mars, which won't be like the guy Hinton said, even if we had a nuclear war, Earth would still be more hospitable to human life than Mars. So that's my idea is go all out to understand human brains fully, including the emotional and all aspects of them, then and our genes that control them. Then maybe we can upgrade ourselves, be more altruistic or whatever.
Well, I believe Neil deGrasse Tyson has mentioned that if we could terraform Mars, we could trivially solve all the climate problems on Earth.
You're on your own PC now.
Yeah, but I can't hear Carol. She's talking.
I know, but you have your speaker.
Here's what I got.
Turned up.
That one, and let's see, is there any others I have to turn on?
Are you saying you can't hear me?
Now I can hear you.
Oh, thank you. I would mention that Neil deGrasse Tyson has put it very succinctly that if we have the capability to terraform Mars, we certainly have the capability to solve the climate problem and terraform Earth.
Yeah. And figure out how our brains work, which might help, and our aggressions and so on, and potentially modify them.
Well, a lot of research has been done on particularly aggression and what its biological basis is and biological means of controlling it.